Welcome, my star seeds, for your confirmational messages for today. So we already have a card that has popped out and is ready to speak and give you that message that you need to hear today and that you were meant to find today. Okay, so let's see what this is. We have Vajrayogini, transcending fear. Facing fear leads to fearlessness. Embrace your power. Okay, and we already have another card. Wow, they are ready and they are charged up. Okay, we have Metatron and Sandalphon. We have sacred connection, synchronicity, divine connection, understanding, lessons. Oh, wow. Bottom of the deck, Lakshmi and Ganesha, prosperity, vibration. You are attracting health, wealth, and happiness. And I see like one more card splitting. Lady Nada, expanded heart, openness, liberation. Let yourself love and be loved. Okay, very clear message coming through. I can't lie, because this is almost a frequency of your health. I mean, not your health, your financial health, your abundance, and your love life kind of being mixed together and amalgamated together, but in an energetic sense, in a very energetic way. They are blended together because this is actually you healing an aspect of you that is directly connected to your Venusian consciousness. Okay, so there's so many Venusian energy. Lady Nada, Lakshmi and Ganesha, Metatron and Sandalphon coming out together. You have been connected to Venusian frequencies in so many timelines, and it's almost like your home frequency or like your substation for some of you, and you've been really connecting with the broadcasting signals of Venusian lately, and you've been able to have this comparison sheet or this comparison experience of Venus and Earth. And because you're able to connect with your Venusian self, it's like you have this you have something to compare to what your life here on Earth is like. And now you're understanding there's such a different vibratory energetic field within them, and how you relate to relationships, connections, and finances or abundance and prosperity. And it's like now you're seeing how in Earth there's so many shadow aspects of those Venusian energy is playing out, and how you've been kind of giving your energy into these shadow aspects of these things, and how you've been playing in this shadowic field as well. I hope that made sense. And now what's happening is like you're not just working through your love life because you're connecting to these Venusian frequencies, but they're helping you kind of like untangle this in a more deeper way, which has this like invisible thread that's been kind of looping underneath both this frequency of fear that's been sitting in your energetic field for a while, maybe even lifetimes, right? And it's that part of you that just kind of keep saying that I can't trust this path, or what if I pour my heart in and all of this just crumbles? And it's that fear of like, I don't want to hope too much because what if I get disappointed again? Like all of these things kind of start coming out for you because this is the shadowic level of energy in this earthly realm. But this isn't really just about fear of failure. What's actually happening, it's way more subtle than that, right? Because it's this deep cellular level of uncertainty in your own signal that you're healing. Because maybe somewhere down your path or somewhere in your journey, something or someone made you question if your soul's blueprint was safe to follow. This blueprint, which I'm talking about, is this Venusian blueprint that you have in your DNA coded, but you started questioning if that was safe to follow, because to other people that might seem very naive, or that might just seem like you're being too childish thinking that you can live like that here on Earth. Like, be real. Like, that only happens in movies, you know? Like, they might have said that to you and you just thought it wasn't safe to follow, so you kind of started playing into this shadowy aspects of Earth and of being real and realistic, and started to be very pessimistic about life itself, right? So what has been happening so far is that this exact frequency has been leaking into both of your financial path and your love path, or your love life path. I don't even know if that's like a phrase if that makes grammatical sense or not. But anyway, it's just because of these leaking into these aspects of your life, which is why these two seemingly different areas of your life are kind of like glitching in similar ways too, because obviously that's not random, right? They're just operating off of like the same script. They are both your love life and your financial and career and finances. They're operating from that same script and that same energetic underlying shadowy energy of this earthly plane that you've kind of had to like integrate into your being because you needed to be human to be able to understand this level of operating. Okay. So you probably have started to notice that because now you have that sheet of Venusian templates coming up online and you can compare that now, and you're realizing that you have been either chasing those emotional fulfillment through achievements or expecting love to be like the medicine for that emptiness you feel when success doesn't kind of land. You know what I mean? And that void has came because you've disconnected from your own soul's blueprint. Okay. And maybe for a while it kind of worked like a quick fix for you when you got those like achievements in your career, or when you felt like these egoic level of like sense of pride and achievement because you did something, or because you won something, or because you had a level of achievement. But this Venusians are coming through and they're saying that you're beyond the point where that works now. And that is why like that level of achievement is not giving you the satisfaction, or you're not able to see that kind of achievement right now because you're meant to work in a different way now. You've evolved too much and your system is too refined, so it won't let you settle for those substitutes anymore. Okay. And what's actually being purged isn't this like laziness or like lack of clarity, but it's very deep level of like the worthiness loop that has been going on, that not feeling worthy type of karmic loop that has been going on in your field, that fear of like not being chosen or not being remembered, not being seen in your full potential, like that kind of ache of like, will I always be the one who just like, gives everything and gets nothing back? Or like, that's basically what you're transcending right now. And not just by thinking your way through it, or not just by reading about it, or not just by learning through psychology or whatever it is that you listen to, or even tarot readings and doing reflection and contemplation, but by feeling it fully and still choosing to trust your own frequency anyway. Those frequencies of your Venusian consciousness, those frequencies of your Venusian stellar codes that you have within yourself, within your own DNA. And nobody gets to tell you that's not how life is, because that is how you've lived lifetimes in Venus. And you are like channeling that here on earth. You're literally creating that heaven on earth, because Venus is like this paradise and this light aspect of all these shadow aspects that gets played here down on earth, So you are one of these like waymakers for earthlings to see how we can live in this Venusian's way, where it's very light instead of very dark and shadowy. You get what I mean? So yeah, that's a lot of energy. But also another thing that's coming through, it's like you might be being humbled right now in like many ways, because before there's like this big moment of like breakthrough, or before like this full bloom, the big stage of like this, Six of Wands kind of frequency, like really feeling victorious, you've got to strip off like all these ways that you've been using success or love as like a crutch to feel valid, right? So it's not a shade, it's not anything that I'm like just criticizing you about. It's more, or like your guides or your Venusian team are criticizing about. It's actually something like it's soul preparation for you to understand how you can have this like heroic journey here on earth after like forgetfulness, and then the remembrance journey, and then like you can be that teacher with wisdom here on earth. You get what I mean? So what's happening now is that you're actually getting ready to hold that next level, and not just like want it or like crave it, but actually hold it and embody it and radiate it. So without it being an identity fix or like a validation hit. You get what I mean? So without you kind of, also like the last thing I want to say is like, without you needing to feel enough by those achievements, and you're not going to want to chase it anymore because you're becoming it. Like if you are it, you're not going to chase it, right? So that's why both your heart and your root chakra are just kind of being like recalibrated right now as well. And that's why it might feel like grief or fatigue or doubt might be showing up sometimes with all these fears that are coming up, because all the old fear codes that were attached to betrayal, abandonment, rejection, failure, whatever kind of fear it is, they're all just burning out of your grid right now. You're detoxing from these false attachments, and you're unplugging from these illusions, and you're just really remembering that your fulfillment isn't tied to whether like someone chooses you or whether your bank account looks a certain way in a metric level. It's actually tied to how deeply you've kind of seated in your own soul's knowing, and like how you've activated and you're embodying this Venusian level of codes, right? Which lives in such a level of harmony and grace and abundance and prosperity, and who's just so trusting in themselves and in the universe and their team of angels, like literally. So the thing is that this isn't even like theoretical anymore for you. So you're like starting to live it, and you're starting to experience these Venusian codes here on earth. You've already stared down some of the fears. You swore to yourself like you wouldn't survive, but you did survive. And now that like you've touched those edges, you know those things don't define you anymore, and they don't hold that like same level of power. And this is the part where blessings actually starts to land, because you're no longer seeking them from a void of being disconnected from your own source, but you're opening to receive them from a place of just overflow, and not from that level of depletion from being disconnected, right? And that's where Lakshmi and Ganesha are holding space for you. They're not just like handing you luxury and prosperity as rewards or as these like saviors, but they're aligning you with frequencies that match the stabilized version of you, the version of you that no longer fears their own light, their own path, their own sacred timing, their own pace, and their own journey, and their own chosen path. Like this part of your journey, it's not necessarily going to be the most glamorous, but it's going to be so sacred, and it's going to be so valuable, and that it's going to be so spiritually orgasmic and so delicious for you to experience, that it's not just about like fixing or proving, but it's about finally safe, like feeling safe to be fulfilled from within, and feeling safe to trust, and safe to like want and desire again, and safe to believe, and safe to dream, and safe to like imagine and vision, like have visions of these like unimaginable things, right? That's the irony and the paradox. Like you can start dreaming and visualizing things that it feels almost like unimaginable. It feels so out of this world, but it is like you're gonna feel safe to do that again. You get what I mean? So this is a very, very, very beautiful part of your life, and it's something you're going to like enjoy it a lot. Okay, so congratulations for getting here, and you're already beginning to feel it, maybe subtly but definitely surely, just by being who you are and connecting back to your source self of the Venusian templates. And that's just the new root of abundance for you, and that's the new love story for you, and it begins now for you. Okay, all right, that is beautiful, you guys. That is just beautiful. Okay, you know, every time I do readings on like Venusian stellar codes or like Venusian energetics, I get a lot of messages around like harmony, balance, twin flames, soulmates, blah blah blah, but like it's not in the way we think of it, you know? It's not like, because your soulmate can be that career that is a perfect match for you and your soul and soul's desire. That soulmate and twin flame can be a workplace, can be a studio, can be a ley line, a power place in earth, can be a, I don't know, oracle deck that you resonate with so much, like can be so many things, and can be your brother, sibling, your best friend, your romantic partner, your mother, your father, your like your friend that you met but they feel like family. Like soulmate twin flame energy can be directed towards anything. Like, you know, sometimes people get so inspired by a book they read and they have like tattoo of it, and they swear by that book and what they learned from that book. Like, that can be your soulmate. Like, it inspires you and literally calibrates your frequency to your own home frequency. That is your soulmate, who reminds you of your own home frequency. That is your soulmate. And like, they've kind of repeated this message for me so many times, that, and I feel like it's so important for everybody to hear that right now, because there's so many level of distortions around this twin flame and soulmate energy, you know. But yeah, okay, because it's just very limiting from the earthly sense. Like, if you look at soulmates, it's such a limited perspective on it. Like, why would you think there's just one soulmate you can find? It literally comes from a scarcity mindset. And that's what you're healing. Literally, that's what you're healing. And it doesn't mean that you won't find a partner that will commit to you and be loyal to you forever. Like, that's not what it means whatsoever. I think that's what people, that comes from a place of fear. You know, thinking that there are more soulmates, and that means like, oh, this one partner is not like going to stay committed to me or loyal to me. That's why there's more soulmates. Or like, I'm not going to be able to commit and feel safe within that relationship. That's why there's more soulmates. Like, subconsciously, that's what's running through their field. So all of that will be healed once we understand what that truly means and what that truly feels like, that frequency of soulmate, you know. But yeah, that's thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Basically, oh my gosh, this card has been coming out so much. I don't even want to take it, because I've got this card in almost like every reading that I've done, so like lately. And I'll just soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Lost lands. I think it's because there's so much activation happening around our blueprints from our stellar incarnations, that this card keeps coming out. The lost land, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Like, that part where it says you've done this before, I've gotten it almost every single one of my reading that I've done for my clients, or for YouTube readings, or like for myself. Like, this card has come out so many times. And yeah, it's just that we are very much activating our stellar energies, and we're remembering that we've lived somewhere where all of these shadowy things have a different spectrum that we can experience, which is a very, like, it's aligned with very graceful energy. It's aligned with the light aspect of it, and we can experience it in a very different way. And it's like we're remembering that now as a collective, and that's why I keep getting that card. But we have lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. Exactly. It's because you started to question all of these things. Like, these things are leaving as well, because like I said, you probably started giving into these kind of thoughts and way of thinking and living, because all these people around you told you to be realistic and be more, you know, pessimistic in a way, and say, like, this is earth, and be grounded, come back down to earth. You know, you have to think more practically and all of that stuff. And yes, it has a place and a time to be practical and logical, but not to dream, not to be like, live your life in that way, suffocating. You know what I mean? Like, there's a time and place, but not all the time. Like, you don't just live from that place. And you started to question, like, is this really the reality that I really want to live in? Like, this pessimistic, this negative, this heavy and dense. Like, no, I don't. So what is the life that I am meant to live? Like, you started questioning, right? And it started bringing you to all of these weird and woo-woo and cuckoo crazy stuff like this oracle reading. And it's helping you connect back to your home frequency. Okay, because of those questionings. All right, let's get one more card for the collective listening to this from the Venusians. Messages from the Venusians. Okay, we have, you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Ah! You guys. I love that. I love that. Exactly. Like, this oracle reading is not for everyone. If you found this reading, it's meant for you, but it's not for everyone. You might think everybody thinks this way. No, they don't. There's so many people who still don't even believe that they're manifesting everything around them, who still don't believe that they're the master of their own reality and their own experience, who still don't see or believe in ways of, really being a conscious co-creator and like getting to choose what they want to co-create in this reality. Like, there's so many people who are still subscribing to the fact that they have no control over their life and they are just kind of sleepwalking through life, and they just believe in working a job and, like, just making money and just surviving through life, and thinking that this place is just to suffer and to die by just, having some level of money in their bank account. And literally, like, no shade, but like, they haven't gotten to this point of understanding, and they would never will, unfortunately, in this lifetime. But that is what they've chosen to live as, and that is what they've chosen to experience. But for you, you're coming to this realization because you started questioning, and you're not meant to live that life. That is why you're no longer subscribing to that, and you are breaking free from that, having this breakthrough moment, and you're going to change your whole damn life because of that. Because you understand you have this level of power, which is a benign level of sense of power, and it's for the well-being of all. When you start to recognize your power and you start using it with awareness and consciousness, it's actually it's actually something that we need to do as humans. We need to realize our power. We need to realize our responsibility that we have, because if we don't, then we can do more harm than good, actually. And as much as we think sometimes we're doing good by like thinking that we don't have power or we don't have control, and we're just this like people that are just sleepwalking through life and just trying to make money and get through and survive, it's actually doing more harm, because you're not realizing the level of responsibility that you have, or the power that you have as a human that you are, because your words play such a strong role in creation of the collective's reality as well, the collective's consent agreement of reality as well. So yeah, that's something we'll get in touch with in another reading, because this reading has been way too long. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm so excited for you to be able to activate all of these Venusian templates and live from that place of your true blueprint, which is so connected to the Venusian way of living, this very graceful, very loving, very like abundant and generous of their abundance, and really connecting to other souls from deep soul level and from their oversoul, like literally connecting to each other as if you're relating to their higher self. Like, that's where you come from, and that's what you're activating here on earth. And I just want to congratulate you for that. Okay, so thank you so much for letting me be of service to you here, and thank you so much for co-creating this with me. It's been an absolute delight channeling this message for you, and now I hope to see you in another reading. Namaste.